Take it from the top?
Yeah, let's try it.
Okay.
He will rock you. The heat will roll you. Baby, don't you know my heat will move your soul.
All right, let's look at some combos. All right, so I'm gonna do a hip bump sweep. One thing I need to pay attention to is that his momentum is going backwards. Just because he's postured up doesn't make a good time for me to go. I want to be trying to break him down, and during this process of me having trouble as he's lifting back up is when I'm going to do my hip bump sweep. I'll break my guard open, post my feet on the mat. I'm going to turn my hips to the direction that I'm going to sweep, driving up onto my elbow, then onto my arm and up. Now my hips have to bump his hips. The problem is a lot of people are always trying to go backwards, all right? And he's already trying to come back forward. So that's positive resistance against resistance. So I want to take him to the angle that he's not postured up on. So as I get to here, my hips are going to turn and face that way. This outside foot's pushing. This inside foot, which a lot of people block themselves, needs to come down here and cup in, almost like a scissor sweep. And I'm gonna rotate my hips over and flatten down. So, in a little bit of a more fluid motion, I break him down, he comes up, boom, boom, and I'm hitting him right over like this. So my legs are kind of doing a scissor action, okay? Now my knee's not coming across, it's posting on the ground, and I'm driving my hips and I'm turning my hips to bring him over. Now you often see in this process where as we do the hip bump sweep, he posts really hard or even wide out. Now I can't break it that way, okay? So what I can do is make sure I come over the shoulder. I'm not trying to trap the elbow, I'm trying to trap the shoulder. And as I come back down, my hips may begin to square, but I want to make sure I rotate back to this side. So come to this side. And as I rotate back down, I need to make sure my hips are turning as this leg comes all the way up and this bottom leg comes up as high as I can. Catching this wrist, catching the key lock, and now I have him in a nice tight position. You see, if I were to trap the elbow, my arm would be way down here, then you'd have the ability to move his shoulder. I want to be high on that shoulder. I'm simply just driving his hand forward across my thigh. I'm not trying to push it up here. Even if I have to move my leg out of the way, I can push it down and I stay across his back like that. So one more time. As I go maybe for that hip bump sweep, he's coming back up, boom, he posts, I hit it, boom. And I turn to that side and then I lock my hands and start pushing it down, all right? And sometimes we get to that problem and they block. All right, so let's take a look at that. So one thing, I break him down. Guard, I'm always breaking posture. He postures up. I come for the hip bump. He stops it. I trap the arm. Go for the Kimura. This time he reaches under and grabs his leg on the inside of his thigh. Now I can't catch his wrist. That's okay. So I'm going to immediately grab my shin and I'm gonna take my bottom leg and pull it out as far as I can and push it onto his thigh and utilize that to turn my angle until I can pull myself all the way in front. Now we can go for different types of umpladas. We'll keep it simple. His arm is locked into place. So I can keep my bottom hand to help hold it in place. I can grab his belt, pull my bottom leg out, and just keep scooting and scooting until his hips go down. Flatten out my leg, because I gotta keep pressure on that shoulder. And that's what allows me to come up, driving that leg into the ground, keeping the pressure on the shoulder. People often do this, and it allows the shoulder to come out. Once I'm here, now I can lean. Don't do this, because see this space? I'm going to lean into Joe, putting my elbow on the mat. That allows me to curl my leg and keep the pressure on the shoulder. I'm just going to put my knee on the ground. I'm not trying to touch his hand. I'm not trying to do anything but just simply rotate my knee towards the mat. And then I get the omoplata. Same thing as the Kimura, still the shoulder lock, just bringing it in that direction. Look at that one more time. Hip off free, boom, I missed it, I go for the Kimura. He blocks it. Immediately I grab, drive my wrist, forearm into his neck, creating a frame. Pull my bottom knee out, and I'm going to push on his leg to help turn that angle and get my foot across. I can grab his belt since we're in gi, turn my body parallel with him. He is done flattened down at this point, so now I'm going to use his gi, or I can reach under his leg to pull myself up, and look, I need to drive that leg straight. I gotta keep that shoulder pinned. Now I can lean into him and curl my leg if it's easier for me to then come up. Now you have the basic omoplata.